But you grew up in an era where if you would wear like some fresh polo stuff alone.
Well, in the 90s, I used to run with RFC
Yeah.
big time. And the shit that I seen with RFC, the things that I seen them do and see happen to them, you know, we'd all be out and they would catch someone we'd have beef with and fucking out come the razors. And that shit just went back and forth. There was no real like wins as far as defeating the other side. It was just an ongoing battle. Somebody would catch somebody somewhere. You know?
And it was all like graph beef? Or
All
about
kind
whatever.
of beef.
Yeah.
Graffiti beef, kind of like you know, I don't want to say gang beef because really in the 90s there really wasn't gangs yet, like Bloods and Crips and shit like that.
Yeah.
But you know, you had other groups just hate and create conflict and shit like that. You know.
Yeah. People would handle it not like today, you know.
Yeah,
they actually,
but definitely growing up with all them RFC kids, that's definitely where I learned to rack.
Yeah.
You know, hanging out with CA and Rost and Dope, Mate, EAD, you know, all of them kids. Buster, Skid DFA, you know.
Do you remember your first time racking for real?
What was the first time? I had a friend named Evan, and he lived out in New Jersey, and he would take me to Garden State Mall, right? And I was a little bit intimidated to rack, and then when I seen him rack, I was like, yo, if this nigga could do it, then I could do it. And he would go in the dressing room and put on like 2-3 shirts and leave because it was just that easy.
Yeah.
And ultimately, the Macy's in Garden State Mall was just that easy. That's where I started racking. And then, you know, once you get comfortable, and then I learned all these different techniques from these RFC kids. It was on from there.
To get paint and everything. Right?
Clothes,
Or
whatever.
clothes. It started with racking clothes first because
I'm saying it like moved on to getting paint after.
Well, it just moved on to everything.
Everything, right?
But initially, it started with clothes because, you know, when I was in high school, the people that I was living with, they wasn't buying me fresh clothes. They wasn't buying me the things that I really wanted. You know, I wanted to look fresh too, like everybody else. So I started racking my own shit. You know, and then racking paint. Actually, I was racking paint way before all of that. My man, shout out to my man As Is from the early 90s, late 80s. He took me and my man Deer racking all the time, like out to Long Island and shit.
Mm-hmm.
Just fucking shoving cans down your pants and in your coat. And we've had some crazy chases with him. There was one time me and Deer was and As Is we were racking paint, and as we were leaving out the store, I didn't have the greatest coat, and like 2 cans fell out as I walked past the register or whatever. And so we was like, yo, let's get the fuck out of here. And we jump in Deer's car, and as soon as we make the right out the parking lot to leave, cop car was going the opposite direction, bangs a U-turn, and starts following us. And as the cop is following us, we're like trying to shove all the fucking paint under the seats and all kind of shit. And then finally, like when we pull over, you know, our fucking hearts is jumping out of our chest. We were young, like 14, or I was the youngest one, so I was like 13, 14, you know. The fucking cop, I don't know how the fuck he seen it, but he seen that my man's inspection sticker or registration was expired, and that's why he busted a U-turn to come back after us. But the whole, like, yo, let's get the fuck out of here, because the paint, like, everything just lined up crazy to make a very exciting situation,
Mm-hmm.
you know?
So with everything that was happening in your life, with the whole foster care and your mother, you taking care of her, and all the things you saw, and, you know, all the racking that you saw go down, and just your run-ins with RFC and stuff, you started writing, and it became like an escape, like a release from...
Well, I had already been... Listen, I got an early jump on graffiti. I got the tag OJAE when I was 9 from a very close friend. This neighborhood kid. His original tag was Chooch, CHOOCH 156, and he gave me the tag OJAE. I don't know if you ever seen the documentary Dark Days?
No, I haven't seen it.
I haven't seen
Check it out if you do. It's about the freedom tunnels and the homeless people that live down there.
Okay.
So my man Chooch changed his tag to Mint, and I had already, by the time I started meeting people, I was already getting up, bombing with Nice in them. I was already starting to get noticed or whatever. By that time, I had already met like Teo and Scar. I met them early when I was 10. I met Chama WKS, Joey TDS, and Part TDS. I met them. I met a lot of dudes just from hanging out down there in the freedom tunnels.
Okay.
Wise, MOM Crew, Wish, Blash, all CM dudes. You know, so by the time I linked with RFC, when I met CA and Rost, I had already known Rost from ice skating in Warman Rink in like 80, 88. And they weren't even writing graffiti yet, him and his brother AOS. And then I meet him years later, like over there by Uniques on Astor Place. And, you know, they're like, yo, put up RFC, CA, Rost, and Cash. Like in the very beginning, before RFC even really got started. And then because I knew them and I would always go to the Ville, I always hung out with CA, Rost, and Cash. And then that shit just fucking grew like wildfire, you know? Dudes from Brooklyn started coming, dudes from Uptown started coming, the Bronx started coming, and then it was just this huge conglomerate of mad different crews under the RFC umbrella, and them motherfuckers used to wreak havoc. Like, don't be fresh walking past West 3rd Street phone booth, man, because they'll strip you like piranhas on meat and literally leave you in just socks and sneakers and underwear. I've seen it plenty of times.
Just whoever. Just, you walking
you
by
had
and
some
you're...
fresh shit, they was taking it. You was catching it. You know? I can remember the bigger dudes like Buster playing the knockout game.
Oh my God.
But yeah, but not this pussy shit like hitting old ladies from behind.
Yeah.
Playing the knockout game where like you wait for the biggest nigga to come down the street and you hit him in his face where he sees you to see who can knock someone out.
Just for fun.
Yeah, just for the hell of it. You know? I remember one time I was with Kaz and another friend, and I took them to the Village, and we walked from West 3rd to Limelight, and we were just banging stores out. Must have been like 20, 30 of us just going into stores, taking whatever we wanted. What are you gonna do with 30 kids come in your store and start taking shit? So like the store we went into, we started taking it. Yo, my man Sonny, fucking taking box of cereal, like, oh, breakfast tomorrow morning or whatever, you
just
know?
Fucking around.
or Kaz took the box of cereal. One of them took a box of cereal, and one of them took a box of Rolos. I don't know what. I think we were just taking shit just to be taking shit in the moment, right?
Uh-huh.
So we start walking. We leave the store. We're walking uptown on 6th Avenue toward the Limelight, and all of a sudden, yellow cabs pull up, unmarked cars pull up, cops pull up. Must have been like 10 cop cars pull up, unmarked and marked. Because the store owner called and said he had been robbed at gunpoint. That's why they came so fast. And I remember telling Kaz, like, yo, just keep walking. Make pretend like we're not with them. Because we kind of sort of look like we could kind of not be with them.
Yeah.
You know? Fucking cop had like a 38 special with the fucking big push broom mustache, kicked me in the ankle. Was like, yo, where the fuck you going? Get it against the wall. Gun in the face. Yo, the whole entire block was us lined up against the block.
Yeah, you said 20, 30 kids.
Yeah. So they had us spread out from one corner of the block to the other corner of the block. And we all on the wall. They searching us. fucking we're on the wall, and the two cops, the one that kicked me, they're standing by the street where you park, and my man Sonny is dropping fucking Rolos one at a time, and they're rolling down the sidewalk to the back of the cop's foot. The fucking cop turns around and looks down and says, "What the fuck is this?" And there's just a fucking shitload of Rolos by his feet. And ultimately, what wound up happening was they were looking for a gun.
Yeah.
And they didn't find a gun. So they just let all of us go.
Crazy.
You know? I mean...
That whole, like, the knockout game you're talking about, that's nuts, man.
Yeah.
That is nuts. You guys are just...
I never understood why people would fucking play the, in air quotation marks, the knockout game and, like, hit women from behind and, like, defenseless people.
That's just crazy.
You know, the whole... In the 90s, when these guys played it, the whole point of it was to try to find the biggest, toughest guy you could find and fucking knock him out. You know?
Mm-hmm.
And if you couldn't knock him out, then you
have a problem.
You had to handle your business.
You also got mad heads with you, though. And he's probably alone.
Yeah, but still, it wasn't like everybody jumped in and jumped him.
Uh-huh.
You know? But still, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's still a chance you take before everybody jumps in.
Yeah.
You know? So.
Damn, so the RFC was doing all that. That's next level.
And mind you, half of RFC was like really young kids. You know, when Skid, all the DFA kids, when they came around, they're a little bit younger than me. And yo, they were some real live. They were more live than some of the adults I know to this day, in their adolescence. Talking about being like 13, 14, they would get shit popping quicker than adults would. You know. So, I mean, that's just the product of their environment that we come from.